Oh, welcome back to Degens on the Block. We talk Web3 and anything crypto and all kinds of other random topics. We got David Burns, Manuel Jordan, and Glenn Gray, and my name is Todd. What is our next topic, boys and girls? It is crypto mining with solar. And what does that look like? I don't know a lot personally about mining other than
you get free money.
The proof of work does take quite a bit of energy, and so how do we power it and make it more green rather than using electricity?
And you know, let's be honest, is there a way to make some profits with something like that as well? So
let's put in our 8 minutes and reset. Here we go. Go ahead.
All right. I'll get it rolling. So the whole idea of some of the more popular and kind of known coins is that in order to you need miners, basically people that are validating these transactions, and through that process, you know, you're getting a coin, and that coin has, you know, a value that's determined by the market, right? So that's kind of the process behind it. And in order to perform those transactions, you need to use computers that are performing, these
calculations and things.
All kinds of calculations, running these algorithms and stuff, you know, to confirm everything, these contracts, and that takes some machines to run, and it takes a decent amount of energy to run those machines, you know, because they're kind of higher. They require a good amount of memory to be able to process everything to go through, and so the biggest issue with this is like, well, this is, you know. And we even heard it when we were at one of our first events for Metaverse, didn't we? When we were at the hockey, the Hockey Expo, right? And so we're there, and you know, when the kids walked out, oh, you do know that these, you know, things, these coins and stuff in the crypto, it's, you know, it's bad for the environment because of all the energy that they take, you know, to create and to use. You say, yeah, well, that's one of the things that they're kind of working on. But you're absolutely right. You know, we knew about that, right? So now. The next, as we've been, you know, looking at our project, I was, you know, trying to look into different possibilities for us to, you know, to be able to offer value to people, and came across, you know, put together a couple ideas of, you know, the whole idea of mining and can you be profitable with that? And it seemed like the answer to that with most people is yes, but it all depended a lot on the cost of your of being able to do this. And the costs, you know, you have the upfront costs of all the hardware. But then you have, you know, the running costs of keeping them operated, keeping them cool, and keeping them going. It takes energy, and that's, you know, that's electricity basically. Yeah. What you're going to be paying a whole bunch into that. So, is there a way to, you know, kind of bridge that gap? And you know, this whole idea of solar and other kind of renewable resources. Solar in particular is one because it goes, you know, straight to electricity, and so combining both of those seemed to me like a recipe for some success. And so that's for our project. You know, the idea was if it, you know, back at the time when we were projecting things, when the market was going to be able to handle it, it seemed like we had the potential, you know, to make, you know, a decent amount of capital that we thought we wanted to utilize, you know, to be able to continue the project going and give all kinds of utility and value to our holders. And one of the ideas was to look at, you know, can we set up a mining operation? So just by doing the mining operation, you know.
And you're talking with solar.
No. Just at the beginning was just a mining operation.
Right.
And so then, you know, and then trying to tie it into kind of some local initiatives and things like that, where you could bring in solar, and that there could be some help to kind of get started with something like that. And if we're saying, hey, not only that, but this is a process, you know, that involves, you know, all kinds of new technology, and so we're wanting to kind of help by bringing this here. It seemed like a kind of a win-win to me. But since then, you know, things like the cost of mining and the changes of like Ethereum when it went from ETH, you know, to the ETH 2.0 to the 2.0, where now the processes are a little bit different, which are meant to minimize the environmental impact, the resources it takes to do it, but it also minimizes the potential to make, you know, a profit as a miner.
Right.
And so it set it up more as like a for the bigger companies to be able to do it. So that seemed more of like a centralizing type of an operation.
But starting somewhere
than a
is always,
decentralized one. So
starting anywhere is good, right? And when you look at the facts of, let's say, you need 30 to 50 solar panels to run a kind of a mining operation if you're thinking solar. And those panels cost $35,000. So right now, one Bitcoin is it hit over $24,000 this year or this last week. I mean, so there is obviously money to be made. The one in electricity, I think that, I think it costs too much. I don't know exactly what the numbers would be, but if we're talking solar with mining, I think the one problem, and I don't know if it's necessarily a problem, but usually when you're doing mining, it's 24/7, right? That's your operation. And just capturing enough sun to be able to keep that machine running. And maybe you have the backup generator. There's things that you can do to minimize risk, but that's also good surveillance, good communication, and just trapping all that solar, the sun, the power. But you got to have all those things working with you.
Yeah, I mean, it would help that, having a connection with a solar company.
100%.
You know what I mean? Because I was
You just draw from them.
Because I don't know much about this. I'm over here Googling stuff, but it looks like it takes, about 500 watts to run a single mining rig. And you would need somewhere between a 6 to 12 square meter solar panel and a battery system, because you have to store that energy when there's no sun, right?
And so you have to make sure you store enough.
I think it all makes sense, and I love that. It's just you have to have an infrastructure. There's an infrastructure cost initially.
Well, that is the biggest issue is all the upfront costs towards the hardware and everything else like that. But the rest of it, I think that what you're talking about is these operations are normally tied into an electrical grid too. So meaning that at the time where things are low, you're pulling in. At the time when things are high, all the extra that you're having, instead of going to a battery, it's going back into the system. So there's a way
that's an interesting topic, because we do know someone that's in solar, and we've talked to him about that. And what he said, it's not so simple to put it back in the system unless you're like a municipality.
Yeah.
So
I think
at some point that will actually be true, because there will be more people using solar where you can pump it back into the system.
But I don't think that's the norm
right now, unless you're you're directly connected to the grid, as a municipality.
Or you can sneak over the fence, just kind of plug in.
Like stealing cable.
But I love the topic, because I think there's a lot to be said about it. I think you need to, obviously, like he's saying, do it right, have a facility. We know, you and I know, we coached with him, or I coached with him 2 years ago, and his son, Zach, I'll say, is in Arizona, and I think he's doing like mining. I mean, like big warehouse, fans, compute. I have no idea what's going on, but it's a huge, huge space. We should try to get him on the line and see how he's doing with it. I'd love to do that. Just the pros and cons and what he's learned. I mean, think about it. Bitcoin hits 100,000, or when it does, because it will do that. There's a lot of money to be made.
Yeah, and
it's a good business.
I think for another topic at a different time would be looking at, because not all the different coins, I think, like you had mentioned, Todd,
require mining
for you to be a part of that. So just exploring that topic alone, which I know
a lot of opportunities
about, I think would be kind of a fabulous
and I think the
conversation.
narrative has to either go that way, or it has to go towards coins that have a different consensus mechanism that doesn't require mining. And my reading of the tea leaves is that it may go that way rather than going towards
that help the environment
Bitcoin.
And everything else.
The narrative from the big powers that be, like the WEF and the whole conspiracy theory piece of it, is that that they're really looking to use the green narrative to push something a certain way,
Yeah.
So, but who knows?
We'll see.
Who knows? I like the topic though. I don't know much about it, and I'd like to dive deeper.
This helps. We should
I think so.
pick it up on our next podcast and see what we've learned.
All right.
All right. Okay, boys. Nice. Okay, we're back from break. Degens on the block here. We're on to another topic, boys. I like this topic. It's pretty interesting and might be insightful. I don't know that I wish I could go back, but it would be. I am interested in y'all's take on the advice that you would give your 18-year-old self.
Oh,
Advice you would give your 18-year-old self, and let's keep her clean.
yeah. Well, since I'm 20, I'm going to pass it on to someone else that has more
Okay, we're starting the
experience.
clock. It's 8 minutes. We're on the clock. Who's on? Who's going?
Go ahead.
Why is everybody looking at me?
Because you got the flavor saver.
Advice for my 18-year-old self. I think there's a couple things. One, I think I would learn more from my grandparents. Right.
Interesting.
I don't. I know there was. What was it? What was the book? Lunch with some or breakfast with Maury. I don't know. Weekends with Maury or
Breakfast
I don't know.
at Tiffany's?
Breakfast at Tiffany's. Well, the idea was that he was sitting down and talking to this guy, and all the things he learned from this guy, and the guy eventually died. But not to give the book away. But I think to learn more and really understand where they came from, what they went through, would be a really cool thing. Because right now,
Is that for knowledge or
Perspective?
perspective,
Yeah.
just even getting to know them better.
on a personal level?
Yeah, I mean, I
like
think
it's like slow down 18-year-old self and take some time to learn from
because you're
people
so
who have lived
much,
life.
you're so like oh, I'm not going to deal with these old people, but they're actually really interesting.
They're the pioneers.
And when I talk to my mom, I try to I call my mom every day just to
boy.
see how she's doing. But we rely on her to tell us what the grandparents were like. It's and it's a different perspective. I'd love to hear it from them
Directly.
So,
So
I mean, that would
yeah.
be one thing, just to kind of know where you came from.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I love that idea because, dude, I don't feel that much older than an 18-year-old, even though I look like it in the mirror, right? I mean, like, you're still, the 90-year-olds were still a kid. And we all face a lot of this. I mean, granted, nowadays things are a little different for what our kids are facing, but we all go through a lot of the same things, no matter what generation you grow up in. So I like that idea.
yeah.
Very
All right.
But
who's
I
next?
think I remember being 18 going, screw these old fogies. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm on my own life. I'm immortal. I'm going this way.
I remember one time, not to take all this time, but I was supposed, when I first started driving, we were going to visit my aunt in Pennsylvania. So this is back in Long Island. And they said, oh, why don't you drive? Why don't you drive us there? It's like a, 4-hour drive or something like that to get there. And I think I didn't even make it to like the first bridge out of New York before I was falling asleep, because we get in the car, and the first thing my grandparents did, they turned off the radio, and they're like, let's talk, and they would like
Just like I do to my kids.
right, and they'd be like, I remember when this was just a small town and we only had the corner grocery, and then you'd start to go, and I was just like, I'm driving, I'm kicking up gravel, and they're like, whoa, I slept for 4, like they completely put me out.
Knocked you out.
That's hilarious.
But I wish I had that time back.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. That's I mean, the perspective. Like, yeah, I totally get it.
My daughter showed me a picture of it was like kind of from a distance, and there's four people walking on this ridge line in like the Himalayas, and it says, rare picture of seeing my dad walk to school. Just
Yeah.
I mean, because our grandparents would say, well, you know what, I had to walk 2 miles in the snow knee deep. And anyways, I thought that was pretty comical. That just happened to me the other day.
Right.
Sorry. Who's next?
Well, I would probably tell myself, my 18-year-old self, self, by the way.
I love it.
Yo
Yeah.
self.
Yourself.
Yo, yo.
I tell myself to believe in myself a little bit more and have a little bit more confidence.
Yeah.
You know, because
Good
I think
one.
because that took me some years, you know,
Yeah.
to develop some of that. You know, even something like this, you know, I'm kind of naturally a bit more introvert, and so to be on a podcast was like,
Right.
Yeah.
no, but
No, I get it.
That's
But-
super cool, though, Manuel.
Yeah.
I've known you for a long time. Long time. Mm-hmm. How long has it been? Probably like,
well, certainly last century,
yeah.
you know.
Anyways, almost too long.
Viet-
But
20
I've seen a lot of growth. I've seen a lot of growth, and what you've been able to do with your businesses have been really cool to sit back and watch. So I agree with you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
100%.
What about you, David? What would you tell your
Yeah.
Wow.
18-year-old self?
You know, I'll keep it light. I'll keep it simple for sure. Know everything's going to be okay. Yeah, that's what I'd say. Keep you know, keep your eyes on the prize. Don't steer away
Yeah,
from
I
it,
think-
and know it's going to be okay.
Everything feels so serious and so all important in the moment,
Yep.
Very, very.
but it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to work out.
There's a lot more drama when you're younger. Every small thing
Yep.
seems huge, and
100%.
yeah, I think that's really good advice. I mean, I think like, if I just get super practical, because I own a business now, is like, dude, do some basic accounting classes, learn some business acumen. Don't struggle your whole life to avoid that stuff when you're going to end up owning your own business. You need to be prepared and ready and organized. You know, it's funny because the things that I struggle with a lot, I'm always harping on my kids to pay attention to, which I think is
Yeah.
part of the growth process, and maybe your desire to talk to your grandparents is like to learn some of those things that you're just like, you
Yeah.
know, not that I would have a different life. I wouldn't have a different life. I'm like completely blessed. Love it. But yeah, I mean, there's just some perspective things that you just don't get when you're younger. Also enjoy the moment as you're going through it, because
That's a
old
good
age
one.
comes quickly.
Yep.
Old age comes quickly. It
Weird.
doesn't in your mind, but time
Yeah.
passes
No, it
quickly.
does.
Time passes quickly. That's
Time
well
passes
put.
quickly.
Yep.
You know,
It always
there
comes
were-
down to
but
checks
there-
and balances
Yeah,
with,
there-
with kids, teaching them.
yeah.
And just to piggyback on what you were saying about the grandparents, I think that's, you know, having conversations like, you know, my wife Amy, she's a genealogist, and so she's gone through, you know, all kinds of different, you know, research and stuff like that, looking for things for census records, things
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
you know, finding stories just within what she's finding there.
That's awesome.
But the question she always has, you know, and that she gets back to a lot of times is because we have all these photos and stuff, and it's like, who were these people?
Yeah.
Right.
And what can you tell me about them? You know, and I remember, and you know, and that's kind of how we know them. And I wish I would have had more of that time to kind of know and ask the grandparents about, like, tell me more about this one.
Yeah.
Right.
And tell me how it is that you guys, you know, got the hell out of Berlin on the last train before the Allies, you know, and you know,
Yeah.
shut it down at the end of World War II, and you guys emigrated as Russians at the time, you know, to be here to the U.S.
Yeah.
How the hell did that happen?
Now, did
I
that
know
re-
it just
did,
as a
did that
story.
really happen?
It
'Cause-
did.
Okay, because I thought there's no way he just
Santos.
made that up on the fly.
yeah,
I know, right? That was pretty.
right, that was
And our
good.
guest today, George Santos.
But I love that. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But yeah,
Yeah.
just something like that. It's like we think about like that. It's like, that sounds like you can make a movie out of some shit like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, but that actually happened to them. So
Yeah.
as much as boomers, we saw them, and we're like, oh my God. But, you know, to even, I never thought back when I was 18, it's like,
Know
dude,
your history.
Dude, if you knew that, you would not be treating them like that.
Yeah. That's an interesting perspective.
That is.
The other thing that I think is that brought this thought up in my mind is that, like, how awesome it is today that we actually can capture so many things. Think about boiling down a life to a single picture.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not, you know, here was your great grandpa, not knowing. I mean,
Yeah.
this was him.
Well, because
or just a
photos
line
didn't
in the
happen.
census.
Yeah, just to know
or just
where.
a name.
Just a name in the census.
I mean, but like how? Yeah, I'm sorry.
The idea with the
photo.
photos, it's not like now where you've got 300. You sit there and you just lean on the trigger. It was like a photo was a big
Yeah.
deal. Not
Huge
everybody
deal.
not everybody could afford it,
Right.
or have it, or like
Right.
It was a luxury.
Well,
it was.
Yep.
Hey
For
guys,
sure.
what we're doing right now, I hope that my great grandkids someday see this. I mean, like to know
They will.
how much of a
He was a
Cartoon
jackass.
character.
Yeah, he was a dipshit, wasn't he?
he's a
doctor.
great grandpa.
Yeah.
But same thing with you guys. I mean, let's capture this. This is great. I mean, and to know people on a deeper level, like I'd love to have this of my grandpa.
I'm worried there are some viewers, if we have viewers out there, that will wish we just put this into a time capsule and buried it. Instead of posting it on the web.
We're sorry to that viewer. No.
we love you. You, the one.
No, this is where it all starts, guys. Good ideas, good
yeah.
conversations, good friends. So we appreciate time that was given to us.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I mean, perspective.
Yeah.
Let's close
And on
it
that
up
note-
now.
Yeah. Thank you for the time.
All right, we're back. Degens on the block. I'm Todd. This is David, Glenn, and Manuel. Next topic, gentlemen. I like that last topic.
I never
but
know
let's,
if when you introduce it, I should be like giving a little, like, feels really
The
weird.
whole wink and gun.
Yeah, it feels so wrong to be doing that. I'll try not to. Go ahead.
We have an HR
Sorry.
department.
let's start-
Wants to talk to you.
Yeah.
Next time it's like,
Yeah.
I'm here.
That's right. Wait, my grandkids are going to see this? Hold on.
yikes. That's why we had to delete the 2 segments ago.
That's why I'm in the corner.
Okay. So next topic. This was like a booming topic about a year and a half ago. Year and a half ago, when Facebook changed their name from Facebook to Meta, there was massive excitement. All the crypto gaming coins went through the roof because everyone thought the metaverse was on its way. So far, that hasn't panned out. So is it dead? Or do we see a resurgence of the metaverse, and how does it look going forward? Let's start the timer.
Yeah.
Who wants to start out?
I think it's probably, like a lot of this technology, right? It's kind of going dormant for a while. Maybe it's solid technology. And I think in gaming, it's continued, out there and creating these kind of metaverses, I don't know how it's going to go. I mean, you remember when I was up for that job?
I do.
Right? So I was contacted about a job to be a creative director on the Metaverse, and it was. I went through one interview, and I was scheduling the next one, and that was like right as Facebook dropped it. They were just like hands off, backed out because they lost so much money, or they pumped so much money into the Metaverse. And but it was unfortunate because I think it could have been a cool experience, but I think it's so hard because even in those metaverses, in order to run those things, it takes so much processing, so they're kind of rudimentary.
Right.
You go in there. Remember, you went into the Samsung one with me,
Yeah.
and we were the only ones in there.
Yeah.
Right. The thing launched with big fanfare. They were like breaking the internet with it, and then we went in, a month later, and it just didn't have anything to it. It was just the idea of it launched it.
It has to be interactive. What I got from getting in there is it's just a big sales tool, and
Yeah.
that's not. It's like content. It's like content. You don't want to get on there and say my product. You want to give value, like.
It's still,
I think
it's
like
still
we're
early.
doing
it's
here.
Still
It's
early.
like,
It's
yeah.
it's
It wasn't
still
even
early.
a good sales tool though.
No.
Either.
No.
Well, it's like I
You're right.
believe
It's still early.
I believe, is the metaverse dead? No. But if Mark Zuckerberg keeps going, in 2 years it's dead. No, I'm kidding. Bad joke. I think it's going to live way beyond. This is the beginning. We're the pioneers. We're just watching this kind of seed that was planted, and we're kind of seeing some growth. We don't know what it is. but it's going to amount to something a lot bigger than we could ever even imagine.
I think everybody's got in their head the Ready Player One, idea of it, where it's like fully immersive and it's,
That's what
right.
they were expecting, but what they got was Roblox.
Yeah.
So.
yeah. So you get in there and you're like, wait, that's not Ready
This
Player
thing
One.
is not even
And
one.
the other piece of it is we need more adoption. Like most people don't even have their crypto wallets.
Right.
Right. And the technology that's coming out on a daily is going to be changing,
So
the way Metaverse looks.
my
and
question
acts.
is the Metaverse even alive at this point? I mean, has it birthed the way we're talking about? Because all I've heard about, it sounds like there are these small kind of niche little
Yeah.
verses that are out there. Why? I thought the Metaverse was there'd be all these different ones. They're all connected, so you can go see all these different ones. But then as soon as all these different platforms started coming out, it's like, well, we're going to have, we have Decentraland over here. and
Yeah.
we
So
got-
where do we buy the real estate? Is it
Right.
Decentraland or
so
Sandbox?
which metaverse was supposed to be? Is it which one was going to be the one that's going to take off and everybody else is going to conjoin to? Because
Right.
that my question about is it alive is like, because I thought it was going to be looking back at like what the internet was. This sounds like all these metaverses sounds like it's just an inner office exchange of email. That's all you have
yeah.
right there. It is not the internet. Does that
Right.
make sense? So
Right.
applying a Web 2 look at the Web 3, it sounds like right now there's a whole bunch of like, intercompany, little circuits basically.
Yeah,
and nothing's
feels
connected.
Like you said, just as your analogy, it's kind of like the first internet when I was using Netscape Mosaic was just like a read only, and that's how this metaverse feels. It's like it's so early.
Yeah.
It's not integrated with payments. It's not visually enthralling. It's just super basic. So like and it's disconnected. I mean, I remember when oh my God, I don't want to put my credit card into this internet shopping site.
They're going to steal it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's a lot about adoption. I think we got many years before it even comes close to its potential, what some people are thinking it could be.
Yeah,
But it's many years.
Well, I think part of it is that technologically it's not even here yet. I mean, the concept and the beta, the metaverse betas are out there right now.
There isn't a need yet for
Well-
it. Not really.
Well, there wasn't a need for the internet necessarily either, but and then it
Yeah.
kind of came up.
It says-
so, but it's like it's a next transition of like information exchanges. That's what we're thinking the metaverse is going to be. It's in a total beta phase right now, and it's just being experimented on a couple different platforms away from everything else and not connected to anything beyond that.
And when you're talking Metaverse, you're talking Fortnite, you're talking blocks or whatever it's called.
Roblox, yeah.
There's over 400 million people right now in the Metaverse.
Yeah, if you
What
consider
metaverse?
if you consider games
Right.
a
Abso-
metaverse,
well,
which they
you
are
do.
their own
Yeah.
own centralized metaverse.
So is
yeah.
the Metaverse alive? Yes, it is.
I mean,
is it going to exponentially just go from here to here, zero to hero? It's going to take time, but it's inevitable for sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
That's my opinion.
We're at like the ping pong stage of a video game when what we're wanting is playing some sort of
Atari Pong to
Yeah.
playing like a game right now where we can all get in. Let's go play League of Legends or something like that together.
Yeah.
We can all do something like that.
Play
Right?
pickleball.
Yeah, I mean
Foosball.
it's like Atari to Unreal Engine. It's like
exactly.
yeah.
Yes.
So, but I mean,
So
I think-
consensus is
I
alive or
think
dead?
it's alive, but it's whimpering right now, just like we are in the crypto market, where it's such a crypto winter that people I think are starting to try to build stuff, but it's not going to hit main adoption
No.
until we see a couple more bull
Yeah.
runs.
I'm glad I didn't spend a bunch of money on a plot of land.
Yeah,
In
we
there.
almost did.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
things were like
But-
60 grand,
How
plus.
much is a square now in the sandbox?
I think it's like 5 ETH,
5 ETH?
maybe
Still?
3 or
No.
5 ETH, but ETH
It
is way
can't-
down.
No, I know, but it
But
can't
still.
be 5 ETH.
I think it's something like that.
Well, let's do some research.
We will.
All right.
My conclusion is that I don't think it's quite birthed yet. It's an embryo. I
Yeah.
don't even see it
You
in
might
any
be right.
beyond that.
But if you're
kind of a
considering
thought.
games,
You can see.
it's alive.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's,
Yeah,
the embryo.
and
It's getting
games-
tested in there.
Games will be the piece that push it forward to the next.
and that's part of the
Yeah.
metaverse. Yep.
That's the
Agreed.
womb, David.
But that, I think, because
the
it's
womb.
centralized, it's not the same thing.
Where we'll really use it is on our trips to Mars. You know, when we don't get. To
I have mine
see,
booked for
like-
next week. So
So we're gonna have to be doing something on our 3-year trip to Mars. We're gonna jump in the metaverse and do something like that.
Zoom,
Get
zoom,
some
zoom.
interaction.
all right.
But I hope it goes somewhere. I mean, I'd be interested, but it's
inevitable. Technology.
It's going to take time.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. There we go.
Boom.
That's it.
Welcome back to Degens on the Block. That was
Big boy,
good.
big boy.
Welcome back. We're going to wrap it up here for this session of Degens on the Block. We talk crypto, Web3, and some additional random topics. Any last words, gentlemen?
I thought it was fun.
It was
I
great.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
Love hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, this is good.
Yep.
Adds to my
And-
happiness.
And just think, your great,
Brings me
great,
joy.
great, great, great grandkids are going to see this.
Sorry.
I don't know how, but it's not going to be on a TV.
Sorry.
It's going to be like
That's
on their
right.
hand or something cool.
Not a hand.
All right, hey guys,
Projecting
join us.
from your hand.
Join us next week for another Degens on the Block. Links in the description. Join us on our newsletter. Take care.